Okay, it should be coming up now. Is there a way I could share this? I want my Tumblr rights to see this too. Hold on a second. Yeah. Does YouTube just hate Tumblr or something? Is that part of the problem? Because I get this a lot when I'm trying to share something to Tumblr. That it can't share for one reason or another. It's weird. Hi guys. Christian Hernandez asked, what are we doing today? Basically, any theory suggestions you guys have for me. If I can't address them in try sharing it that way. I don't know if that'll work or not. Basically, any theory suggestions I have that I can't yeah, I shared a link. I guess I could share it through there because Tumblr lets you like turn links into videos. I don't know what the word would be for that, but I could probably do it that way too. Let me try that actually, real quick. Any theory ideas you have? No, that doesn't work. If I can't address them in about a minute, I will add them. Yeah, okay, so it does hate Tumblr apparently. I will add them to my video rotation, which means if you come up with something that I feel like will take more than a minute to explain, even if it's just 2 minutes, I will add it to my rotation of theory videos. So even if I have to put it in a compilation with a couple of other small theories, I will include something. Here's one coming through. Carrie Tyler, is that how you pronounce that? I apologize if it's not. So as far as the theory, I know it's been touched on before, but going more in depth into Stevonnie, if Connie, for example, broke her arm, then fused, would her arm be healed when they unfused? Considering that Stevonnie is still an organic life form, is basically a human, I would think that Stevonnie's arm would still be broken. That either Steven or Stevonnie, if Stevonnie has the healing power, would have to heal Connie's arm before the fusion, and it would still be broken after they unfused. Thoughts on Emerald's role in the gem hierarchy? She seems to be in charge of constructing ships, maybe testing new ships, maybe she oversees the people who do construct and design new ships and she just tests them, or maybe she helps design them and then tests them. Does the theory have to be from Steven Universe? Technically, no. Would Stevonnie be harmed in any way? Yeah, like I said, I think she would be, or they would be. Is Stephen the second coming of Christ? No, they like to invoke Christ imagery a lot, but no, I don't think so. T-Devil asks, hello AJ, Theory 1, would Pink Diamond be classified as Steven's grandmother? No, gems don't have families. Even if, let's say, Pink Diamond were still alive and decided to take on the role of Steven's grandmother, she still wouldn't be because gems don't have any genetic connection. Have I watched the new Discovery episode? Yes, and I hated every minute of it. That's not true. I didn't hate every minute of it. I hated every minute of it with the Klingons, and I'm going to be taking a break from the show. I might come back to it later after several episodes are up so I can get through several of them at a time, but for now, I'm done with the show. What would happen if a natural garnet and our garnet fused? I don't know. Does the gem type specifically specify what type of fusion it's going to be, or is it the structure of the gem's body? Because if it's the former, they would just be they would become kind of a middle ground between their designs and get bigger and still be a garnet. But if it's the latter, they would become an entirely new gem, and I have no idea what that gem would be. Would a stabilizer work on Stevonnie? No, because Stevonnie is biological. It wouldn't work on Stevonnie because it didn't work on Steven. You can't poof a human. Sorry, Garrett Holton. Mylu Lewin asks, maybe it doesn't break, but they just unfuse. The broken arm thing? I think the question is if Connie's arm was broken before they fused. If Stevani's arm broke, I would imagine that would cause Connie and Steven to defuse. Or maybe you're talking about the destabilizer. It might cause them to unfuse. It still wouldn't affect their bodies. I mean, they would get kind of the same static shock that Steven got, but the destabilizer isn't designed to affect biological organisms, so it wouldn't work. Do I think the whole Lars of the Stars thing is a dream? No, absolutely not. Sarah asked, blue diamonds are the ones that conduct electricity, so why does yellow diamond have that power? It's not specifically electricity, it's the destabilizer attack. So it's not exactly the same thing, but I would imagine just because yellow is... Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people associate the color blue with electricity, some associate the color yellow with electricity. Whoever gave yellow diamond that power out of the Cruniverse must be of the former persuasion. I'm really behind now. Shadow Rider 45 says, this is a theory I have. Will Pearl one day give up her physical form like Rose in the future with Mystery Girl for them to have a child one day? She couldn't have a child with Mystery Girl because Mystery Girl isn't Mystery Guy, but if she had the option, maybe, I don't know. Pearl doesn't seem all that interested in humanity, at least not in the same way that Rose was, and I don't think being in a relationship with a human would really change that. She'd just be interested in that one human then. The theory about White Diamond's powers of memory erasing, it states a side effect of her power is the whiting of the victim's hair, and that's why corrupted gems have white hair. They don't all have white hair, though, as far as I recall. The ones that we've seen with hair, at least. I could be wrong about that. But it doesn't matter anyway. She can't possibly have that power. If she had the power to erase memories, then there wouldn't have been a war in the first place. She would have just blanked the minds of all the enemy gems. Yellow Diamond asks, do you think there are Malachites and Garnets and other fusions on Homeworld that aren't fusions? Yeah, they confirmed that in recent podcasts. Rebecca Sugar herself confirmed that. Did I see the Steven Universe rant from RoboCop, rather? No, but I'm kind of distancing myself from Steven Universe critical stuff right now, so that's why. From what we've seen, this is Garrett Holton again. From what we've seen, what do you think Lars' endgame is going to be? Based on what we know is coming for future episodes, I think he and the off-colors are still gonna come back to Earth relatively soon. Christian Hernandez says, going back to Stevani, if Stevani were to be wounded and unfused, would the wound show up on Steven and Connie or only manifest as extreme exhaustion? I think they would have lesser wounds than Stevani did, but I still think they would be injured if the injuries were severe enough to actually affect Stevani, who seems to be pretty durable for a human being. Who is White Diamond? The overall leader of Homeworld, I think. What is Superchat? Superchat is where you give me money, and then the question that you type along with giving me money, it shows up first, basically. I'm guaranteed to see it, is what it is. But mostly you give me money. Give me money. No, I'm messing with you guys. But still, if you can, give me money. I'd appreciate it. Do I think that if Sapphire and Padpracha fuse, they will be able to see all of time? No. I think they will be able to see both the past both past and future events that they themselves would be involved in. But that's it. Can Stevani be destabilized? Do they age? Can fusion heal human wounds? I'll really consider that, and I'll add it to my list. I'll make a video about this, compiling all my thoughts on this matter together, because I've thought of this before. But yeah, hold on. I've got a notepad open because I'm too cheap to actually buy Microsoft Word. Did I see the Dewey wins clip? Yes. I think they're both right in a lot of ways, but I think Connie's more right than Steven. I think at the very least Steven should have, I don't know, said something as he was leaving, apologizing for feeling like he had to make the choice that he made. I don't know. I don't really know how he could have done that, but I don't know. I'm siding a little bit more with Connie, but I see both their points of view. I've read A Wrinkle in Time. It's one of my favorites. Exotic Critter. That's a great name. I actually did a whole video on parallels between it and SU. It was the Connie's Imagination Theory video that I made. You should go search it up on my channel and then turn your ad blocker off and then watch it 10 times. Hunter Rules just watched Stranger Things for the 3rd time. I haven't watched it at all yet. I'm waiting until Season 2 comes out. Do I think there will be more alien organic life forms in the series? No, but that's just because thematically that it doesn't seem to be what it's about. With all the things Steven has been through, he has matured so much. Since he becomes what age he feels like, then why is he still so young? He's been growing. He hasn't been growing as much as Connie, for example. We know for a fact that he's been growing because he outgrows his shoes. If his body weren't aging, his feet wouldn't be growing. He's just a late bloomer. And he doesn't always become the age that he feels. That's only when he's using that specific power. Do I think Garnet's relationship is healthy? Yes, absolutely. And I will not be fielding any more questions on that because I'm not really equipped to answer the question right now. T-Devil's Theory 2. What is the probability? What would be a Steven and Garnet fusion? I have no idea. And I'm really bad at figuring out what gem type of fusion would be. I always seem to be wrong. So I'm not even going to bother trying to guess. Something that's kind of a very dark pink. I don't know. Do I think Dewey Wins is part of Reunited, like it's a 4-part like they did with Wanted? That's Lloyd Lunar Beyond the Stars asked that. I really doubt it. It seems like it's going to be a standalone episode addressing the aftermath of Wanted. But who knows? I don't freaking know. No. John Vay. Pink Diamond was definitely evil, or else they wouldn't have had to fight her. She just may have been nice to her people. That's out of character for a diamond, but she still would have been a villain. I don't understand how people can keep asking that question, because if she had been a good person, Rose wouldn't have had to fight her. There's just really no other way of going about it. Wilmer asks, do I think the diamonds are always the judges and Zircon's the lawyers in any trial in Homeworld? Yes, I do, actually. Because if you look at Homeworld, it's a totalitarian society, much like North Korea. It's surprising that they even have a court system with public defenders in the first place. So I would imagine that most trials on Homeworld, with Steven's trial being an exception because Blue wanted the truth of Rose's behavior, what she had done against Pink Diamond. With the exception of Steven's trial, I would imagine the trials on Homeworld are just show trials, with the Zircons presenting their points and then the Diamonds siding against the defendant, like, in order to exert their power. Gumba Chris asks, I get the feeling that things will build up to one of the diamonds being shattered, maybe white, while yellow and blue try to change things towards Steven's side. I don't see yellow ever coming around to Steven's side completely, at least not within the span of the series, but blue might. But then again, she is really upset about what happened with Pink Diamond. I think it would have to be made really clear that Steven is not Rose. And even then it would be a stretch. But yellow I don't think ever will. At least not within the span of the series itself. As to whether or not one of them will get shattered, there's no way to guess that at this point. Who would be the most likely gem to get into the next gem-human relationship? Pearl, probably, since she has been built up as having a potential relationship with Mystery Girl. Though I could see Amethyst hooking up with a human, too. I actually wouldn't be surprised to find out that that she did at one point. I'm really far behind now. Where was I? I kind of skipped a bunch of things. Do I think Stevani could hold their own in a fight against one of the diamonds? No. I think they do okay, but the diamonds are just so physically large, that alone would be a huge advantage. The Escapism song? I can't remember if I listened to that yet or not. If I did, I don't remember it enough to talk about it. But I can put an analysis of it on my list of videos. So, really quick. Analysis. If I can spell frickin' analysis right. Escapism song. There we go. Wouldn't Pearl be able to form a male reproductive system? Yeah, but she wouldn't be able to impregnate anybody because her sperm would be holographic. And she wouldn't be the one to carry the child, so she wouldn't have to give up her physical form when it was born. So they still wouldn't be able to have a child with each other. Do I think gem time is any different from Earth time? No, and I think it's for the same reason that their language is the same. Convenience for the audience. What if Blue Diamond hated Pink Diamond? She obviously didn't. No one seems to be able to establish the true Gem War timeline. I've established one. Do I think I can go over it? Yeah, send it to my email. I have an email listed on my YouTube page. I'll check there a little bit later and see if I can find your email there. This is to Lloyd Lunar, by the way. I'll give it a look. I've been meaning to do another update to my timeline anyway. If I see that yours is superior to mine in some way, maybe I'll include some details from that and credit you. Does the star on Steven's shirt mean something more than it looks? No, it's just one of the shirts that Greg used to sell to kids at his concerts. It's his merch. I mean, I guess it means that. Any thoughts about Steven Universe's Undertale character Sans? He's definitely not. The most likely theory that I've ever heard that Sans is someone from a different franchise is that he could be an adult Ness from Earthbound, or Mother if you're in Japan, I guess. Mother 2, was that Mother 2? What do I think of the theory that White Diamond is Homeworld? Since a gem has to be born from a planetary body that is significantly larger than its mass, that would mean it's impossible for her to be Homeworld. She would have destroyed whichever planet she was created on, and even then her body would be larger than a planet, not actually planet-sized. Does Homeworld have other enemies besides the crystal gems? If they did, I think we would have heard about them by now. So I doubt it. Is it possible that Pink Diamond was a fusion? No. We've seen her now. She has one gemstone, and it's the same size as the other Diamond's gemstones. Therefore, she is not a fusion. Is mayonnaise an instrument? It is if you try hard enough. Semi says, I kind of hate Amethyst as a character, and as if I do not hate her as a character. I actually quite like her. Is White Diamond Homeworld or an ancient sentient being? I think that she might be an ancient sentient being. That's possible, but she's still a gem. Her body would still follow the same rules as any other gem. What about the green gem ship? What about it? It was Peridot's ship, so it was colored after her. It was also significantly smaller than the hands of either of the Diamond's hand ships, proving that they're not the same class of ship, they just look similar. Milo Lewin doesn't use ad block. Thank you. Go watch all of my videos again a few times if you don't mind. Let's see. What's my gemstone? I don't have one. I have an OC called Onyx, who I guess would be a quartz based on the system that the show is set up, but I didn't envision her to be one. It was before it was revealed that all quartz had the same body structure. I did some posts about her on my Tumblr. She's red and black in color. She has kind of a single-edged, straight-blade sword as a weapon, and is a little bit smaller than a quartz, but similar in strength. Can diamonds fuse? Yes, they're gems. What's my thoughts on the Connie/Steven ship? I like it. I think it's going to be endgame. Anime that I've watched and haven't talked about yet? I don't know. I've talked about, like, in these live streams or in general, I've talked about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood a lot in these live streams. People will ask me occasionally what my favorite anime is, and that's the answer. I also really like Cowboy Bebop. Yu Yu Hakusho is really good if you like martial arts anime. I think as a martial arts anime, it's probably better than Dragon Ball. As an anime overall, I probably like Dragon Ball a little bit better. But as a martial arts anime, it's probably better than Dragon Ball, and is kind of iconic. It was kind of the second martial arts anime to make it big. There's 3. I'll try to think of some more. Do I think the diamonds will eventually figure out the cluster has been contained, and how will they react? Yes, and I think they'll be pissed. Pink Diamond was probably loved out of fear, much like Yellow Diamond is mired. Yeah, I can see Pink Diamond kind of playing up how kind and generous she is when she really wasn't that at all, and kind of convincing her people that she is. Again, I go back to North Korea. There are North Korean people who genuinely think that their dictator is a good and altruistic person when he's clearly not. Could be something like that. Do I think that Jasper is the most tragically abused character of the show, considering everything that happened to her? Maybe. I mean, Lapis's situation kind of sucks too. But, I mean, Jasper's been through a lot of shit too, so I guess. I don't know, it's a toss-up. How does Love Like You relate to Blue Diamond? I'm not sure that it does yet, but I'll think about that. Once again, it skipped all the way down to the frickin' bottom of the list when I'm not even anywhere near there. Where was I? Here we go. Is Pink Diamond an instrument? Yeah, if you try hard enough. Get the Hulk in there to swing her around like he did Loki. Is it possible Suitcase Sam was a member of the Gem War? No. Suitcase Sam is just a human that they put in the background of the episodes. Have I done or said anything about the episode where Pearl and Peridot fight, and Peridot after the fight has a bruise on her face? I mean, I reviewed the episode. If you're asking about the bruise specifically, gem bodies do simulate humanoid bodies, so it would be... So they do show injuries like a human body would. They just recover from those injuries very quickly. Blue Diamond is also probably bad at having her palanquin stolen and her zoo invaded. I would imagine she probably is. If gems don't need to eat, age, or sleep, why do they need to expand as rapidly as they do? Because it's in their programming to do so. That's why I speculate that they are... shoot, I can't remember the name of it now, but basically sentient space probes that they were originally designed to go out, reproduce in numbers, and colonize space for whoever created them originally. And that's just so ingrained in their base programming that they can't escape it. It seems like Amethyst almost had some sort of serious crush on Greg, so I can see her maybe having something going on with Human after some growing up. I mean, she doesn't grow up; she was born as an adult, but I can see what you're going for there. I wouldn't be surprised to find out if down the line that she actually had a relationship with Vidalia at some point, honestly, when they were both younger, chronologically speaking, in Amethyst's case. I doubt Alexandrite could have taken down a diamond. Probably need the Temple Fusion or Alexandrite plus Peridot or Lapis. Do I think Steven's organic half could sustain a larger fusion? Yeah, and I think that is how they're going to end up fighting the diamonds for what limited time I think they are going to fight the diamonds. Are the humans in the Human Zoo slaves? No, because they're not used to do work, but they are prisoners, and they don't have any rights. Undertale Gamer. It's a good name. Am I going to purchase the Steven Universe game Save the Light when it comes out? What's it available for? Isn't it just like PS4 era consoles? Because if so, I can't do that. I mean, I could buy the game, I just wouldn't be able to play it. Is it going to be on PC? If it's on PC, I'll probably buy it. My fan mail address, like email or physical mail? I don't have an address for physical mail. I am planning to set up a P.O. box at some point, though, for that. I have a couple of email addresses, though. One of them is listed on my channel in my About section, so you can find that there. The other one is ajqna@gmail.com, I believe is what I called it, which is typically where I take questions for my AJ Answers Your Questions videos, which I really need to do another one of those. Do I think there are sorry, my stutter is getting the best of me again. Do I think that there are other gem-human hybrids? No, absolutely not. It would have been cool if the gems had enemies, male creatures that are based on metals. Yeah, it would have been cool, but it just isn't true. Sorry. I mean, there's some really good fanfics about it, but it's never going to be in the show. If pink is dead, definitely. Yellow is dismissive and blue is in mourning. Is it possible that white is pleased with Pink Diamond's death? Absolutely, yeah. I think it's entirely possible that yellow is pleased with their death, too. If the diamonds are gems like every other gem, how do you think the diamonds were created? Were they the first ones? I think they were created like any other gem by injecting something into a planet. And no, I don't. I don't think they were the first gems. I've done videos on that too. I'll try to remember which videos of mine would have answered some of these questions, and I will post links to them on my Tumblr after this live stream is over so you guys can go look at them. What do I think happens to a gem after it's shattered? I think its brain is destroyed and it lives its life in a limbo of half-consciousness. If Pink Diamond is cracked, then can't Steven heal her? If she's cracked, yeah, but not if she's shattered. Shattering is permanent. Don't worry about repeated questions. I don't care about that. Let's see. Sirens outside my house in case it's possible that you guys can't hear that somehow. Here's the ones about the watermelons. Do I think the watermelons are going to take over the world? No, I think they're just going to be content to live on their little island and develop a society there. I do think we'll go back there at some point and the society will be more advanced than it was when we saw it last, though. What do I think is in the chest inside Lion's Mane? Pink Diamond shards, probably. And honestly, I don't know. Lost my place again. Holy crap. I need to start catching up. Will Malachite have a redemption arc? I expect Jasper to, so I would imagine that Malachite will as well. Ruby and Sapphire, both corundums would have different roles. That's because the only gems that have kind of a blanket role for all gems with their overarching type are quartzes. I love you says, hi AJ. Hi, I love you. Some more recent anime. I'm just starting to watch. What's it called? Shoot, it's a really obvious name too. I'm gonna have to go look it up, and I'm gonna feel like a freaking idiot. It's such an obvious name. Yeah. My Hero Academia. Dear God. I've just started watching that. I'm only a couple of episodes in, but I really like it. Let's see. I'm liking the Naruto sequel, Boruto. It's very different from Naruto, which is the primary reason I like it, but I do understand why some people don't who like the original. Let's see. Little Witch Academia is good. It's licensed here through Netflix. I don't know what it's licensed through in Japan, but it was really good. I liked that a lot. Recreators was really good. It's over now, but it was really freaking good. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Where does Steven get his mental powers? We don't see any normal gems with this. I think they were either rose quartz powers that she never accessed because she didn't sleep, or they came about as some combination of Rose's powers and Steven's human DNA. But I really don't know. It's a good question. But no, I don't think that Rose had the same degree of powers as Steven did. Even if she had slept, I don't think she would have had the same degree of powers. Semi asks, do I think that Steven Universe can wrap up all of its loose ends by the end of the season? The end of this season? No. But it's already been confirmed that there's going to be another season, at least one other season after this one. It's going to be like 36 episodes. I think they probably could by then if they really pushed themselves. I'm still not sure how I'm pronouncing your name again. Carrie Tyler. I have a Steven Universe themed avatar, but no, that's not the only theories I'm making currently. I'm planning an update to my Bethesda Games theory that suggests that the Elder Scrolls and Fallout are not only in the same universe, but actually connected to each other. And just in general, I'm trying to branch out more. So if anybody has theories from something else, ask them, obviously. What could be the Diamond's weapons of choice? Their powers, probably. I mean, I'm sure they could summon a weapon if they really tried, but they're probably like Lapis, where they just use one of their gem abilities as a weapon instead of summoning a weapon. If you're asking what I think their weapons would be, I don't know. I could almost see Blue having some kind of shield. Yellow having a sword or some kind of bladed weapon, maybe an axe. I don't know, though. Do I think we will know the exact date when Greg first met the gems? Probably not, but it's not that difficult to guess at. I'll have to do the math. I'll do the math and then include that in a compilation video when I think it happened and how old I think he was and how old I think he is now. Make a note of that. Von Neumann machines. Thank you, Nuclear Fallout. That's exactly the term I was looking for. Before, I do think they were Von Neumann machines that eventually developed into what they are now. Emerald's job I already touched on earlier, but I think it's either to design or test starships. Are we going to get a flashback during the season? I think they confirmed that we are, actually. I think Rebecca Sugar confirmed that we are. I would have guessed that we were going to either way, though. Please start doing Shrek theories. Probably not going to do that, but I will give it some thought. Humans and the humans are pets. Not really, because creatures in zoos are not pets. They're more curiosities. I don't know what you would call them. They're captive wild creatures. That's what you typically put in a zoo. You do your best not to domesticate them, not to treat them as pets. Okay, now we're getting to where people were answering the question about the game. It's PS4 and Xbox One for right now, but they're working on PC and Switch. I could get it for either one of those. I have the Switch now, finally. Would I be willing to check out some redemption songs that you wrote for characters? John Vay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Send them to one of those emails. I'll take a look at them. What do I think is the significance of the body part ships? Nothing, really. I just think it's a homeworld design quirk. At the very most, I think it could be like the fist being held above the people or something is what they're supposed to be, but I don't think they're going to have some kind of big Megazord combiner type thing. Will Steven/Rose's many powers be explained at some point? No, I just think that Rose and, by extension, Steven discovered more of their powers than most gems do. I think all gems probably have a roughly equivalent number of powers that they just happen to have discovered more of them. Yes, I saw the Channel Frederator theory that Rose is Pink Diamond, but it was one of the most fallacy-filled theories I've ever seen. It doesn't follow the rules of the universe at all and is literally impossible. And it skipped to the bottom again. Great. Because it wasn't the ability to project. I'll explain this briefly. What the fallacy was in their theory. Because first of all, I mean no offense to anybody, except I do a little bit. Channel Frederator is the worst cartoon channel on YouTube. They routinely steal other people's ideas, repurpose them as their own, and don't bother to do their due diligence, and therefore end up talking about things they have no idea what they're talking about. It's proven by the fact that they often routinely, completely misrepresent or mispronounce characters' names and roles. Things that you just couldn't possibly get wrong if you knew anything about the show you were talking about. This theory that they just did, they took it from other people online. It's been in existence since we found out that Steven could project his mind into other people. But what the theory, and therefore what Channel Frederator fails to acknowledge, is that the power doesn't go with the consciousness. So Rose, aka Steven, would not have that power. It would have died with the original Pink Diamond, if that makes sense. What powers will likely transfer from Steven biologically to his children? I would imagine anything that doesn't specifically involve his gem. So they wouldn't have infinite energy. They may not even have shape-shifting, because that would take a huge amount of energy to do. They wouldn't be able to summon a weapon, but they would probably have enhanced strength and healing abilities, because, I mean, even Steven seems to heal faster than a normal human. So extra strength, durability, and healing abilities, and I guess if they have enough calories to burn, they could probably shapeshift. I mean, just stuff like that, most likely. Could the first diamond have been created by a spontaneous event? Probably not, considering how complex they are. They almost definitely had to evolve in some form, or be created at a stage in their development and then evolve from that point. How will Rainbow Quartz 1.0 differ from Rainbow Quartz 2.0? I would imagine Rainbow Quartz 2.0 will be gender non-specific, smaller, stouter, and in some ways weaker. Do I think we'll see Bismuth again this season? Probably. When White Diamond does make her appearance, do I predict that she will be super evil? Just as bad as the other diamonds, or good? I don't think she'll be good, because again, if she is the overall leader of Homeworld, which everything seems to be suggesting that she is, and she was a good person, the war wouldn't have happened. I think she will be just as bad as the other Diamonds, but in her own way, and I don't care to predict what that'll be. What year is Steven Universe set in? I think it's still supposed to be 2015 in the show. I could be wrong about that though. Semi says I have a theory that Steven is Pink Diamond. Yeah, but Rose couldn't have switched places with Pink Diamond. Even if she had the same ability, I'm sorry, but even if she had the same ability that Steven does, they don't switch places. You just supersede the other person's consciousness, and even then the power does not get passed to the new body. So it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Let's say Rose projected herself into Pink Diamond's body. Rose's body would just be dead from that point on, and Rose would continue on as Pink Diamond. They wouldn't actually switch places. Can I make a list of really important good episodes that can be used to catch up a friend? I did that actually for the first season at least. It's the Get to Jailbreak ASAP video. Maybe that'll help you. I could probably do another one for other seasons later if you want. I have not seen Camp yet. Do I think the Gem Mutants in the cluster will attempt to resurrect Pink Diamond after she was shattered? No, because shattering is permanent. All it would do is create another smaller cluster if you tried to put all of her pieces together. Recreators is already on your list. I'll try to come up with some more and maybe do a post about it on my Tumblr. I'm honestly not super up to date on modern anime though. There's a lot of them I've been meaning to watch. Free Bismuth. Yes, Free Bismuth. Could there be more rebels? Sure, there could be. I really doubt it. How did Lapis get in the mirror? Other homeworld gems put her there, she told us. What do I think White Diamond's role in the plot is going to be? To come in and wreck shit. K is cool for your name. I appreciate you letting me know that. Thank you. Brooklyn Nine-Nine theory. It's actually not too far off the table, believe it or not. Do I think Blue's emotional powers can be used for poofing purposes? Probably not. Maybe if her emotions get ramped up so much that they become like super intense, they might be able to cause they might be able to cause another gem to overload and poof themselves, but it wouldn't be very effective at all. Do I think that Star from Star vs. the Force of Evil is going to have any love interests other than Tom and Marco? I don't know, honestly. I'm not caught up yet, so I can't be sure. But I doubt it. I mean, that gives the show the typical love triangle, but who freaking knows? Have I played Undertale? Yes, and I completely lost the rest of the question. God dang it. It's getting annoying. I really need to catch up. Alright, I was below here. Have I played Undertale or do I plan to? Yes, and yes, actually. There are a lot of shared themes. I did a neutral run. It's on my gaming channel, which you can find a link to my gaming channel from my main channel. It's called AJ22 Plays. It has a color-altered version of a Minecraft dog as the icon. I did a full neutral playthrough on there, and I plan to go back through and do a pacifist playthrough. I don't know if I'll do a genocide run or not. But as of right now, I have no plans when that'll happen, but I do still plan to do it. Yeah, but there are a lot of thematic overlaps, so that's very true. Kay, you've caught up on Star. What are my thoughts on how serious the show could go? Do I think it'll stay lighthearted or take a turn like Steven Universe? I think it'll remain a physical comedy, because the physical comedy in the show is very prominent. But I do think it will continue to get more and more serious as it goes on. It has been getting more and more serious as it's been going for quite some time now. Would I say the humans were captured for conservation, study, or as a trophy, or a mixture? I think it's all of them, definitely. What do I think Rose's role in Homeworld was? Jack O'Hagan asks. a soldier, because she's a quartz, but I think also as kind of a defensive soldier and maybe a battlefield medic, but eventually that power of rose quartz gems was forgotten for some reason or another until Rose rediscovered it. But mostly a defensive soldier, I think, primarily. Pad Pradsha says, I have a theory that started as a joke, but I'm taking more seriously the more I think about it. What if pearls are to Steven Universe what squirrels are to Rick and Morty? Where they basically control the world, basically? I doubt it, honestly, but it's not impossible. They do seem to... I mean, the Diamond's pearls do seem to kind of run things for them, but they also definitely don't have more power than the Diamonds, and I think that's the key there. The squirrels go about their business in secret. Very few people seem to know what they do, and that's how they maintain their power. Pearls don't have that same luxury. How old is Steven? He's 14. Talking about Channel Frederator, yeah. It drives you nuts when they mispronounce names. It does me too, because it's like if you had watched even one episode of the show you're talking about, you would know how that name is pronounced. So don't tell me you're some kind of authority on this. It drives me nuts. Yeah, obviously they do it to get clicks. Do I have a Pokemon hat? Yeah, it's Snorlax. I saw a Pikachu hat at my local Target recently. I'm planning on buying too. Ruby is back. Yes, it is. I'm very excited. I'm going to do the reviews of this season, though, as a complete season rather than individual episodes, because 90% of last season's reviews were just me whining about how I didn't feel like enough was happening. But then when I went back and watched Volume 4 all at once, I was much more satisfied with it. So I feel I'll have a much more fair opinion of Volume 5 if I watch the whole thing at once and then review it. Would Steven and Connie have human children? Absolutely. Have I ever watched Supernatural? Yes, I watched Supernatural until I got super tired of them fridging every character who wasn't Sam, Dean, or Castiel. Would Steven fusions change with his age? Absolutely. Since the fusion's design is based on an amalgam of the physical details of the gem. Yes, I'm saying that gem powers do not transfer when a gem possesses bodies. We have seen plenty of proof to deny it. Steven did not have the power to project himself back into his own body while he was controlling Lars. He didn't seem to have any of his extra strength or durability. From all indications, he was physically just as apt as Lars was at everything. For example, Lars with Steven's added strength would have moved almost completely differently than we see Lars typically move, and yet his body seemed to function exactly the same way as Lars' body always does. What two separate gems do you think are most likely to eventually form a permafusion? I don't know, really. I'll have to think on that. Let's see. Do I find Yellow Diamond calling, or do I find Peridot calling Yellow Diamond to Claude funny? Yes. You have a theory that Steve and Rose can only resurrect once. Yeah, but why? What would prevent them from doing it again if it's a function that they're capable of performing? That's why I don't think that theory is right. I mean, it's possible, sure, but unless you can tell me why, I'm sorry, I just don't think it's true. Didn't Lars wake up in Steven's body when Steven took Lars's? No, he didn't. Steven's body was effectively comatose during that entire process. Is Steven a tool? Yeah, if you try hard enough. I'm completely lost where I was now. Again. Do I think gem fusions will form the same even if the components are different? Would opal plus garnet equal alexandrite? Yes, the crew's already confirmed that, actually. I hadn't even nuclear fallout. I hadn't even thought of about that detail, but yeah, that's another reason why that wouldn't have worked. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long. Just more reasons why Channel Federator sucks. What do I think White Diamond's ability is? I think White Diamond has plenty of abilities, like shape-shifting and regeneration and probably weapon summoning and probably extra strength and durability relative to her size. If you're talking about specific abilities, I have no idea. We don't know enough about her to know what they would be. Let's see. Turn on slow chat. I'm not going to turn on slow chat. It's fine. I will keep that in mind. Malu Lewin, if I'm pronouncing that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either. I'll make a note of that. Still on the topic of recent anime, what that is. It's not actually a question. There we go. Did the stream go down? That was weird. The page just reset. But no, it looks like everything's still working. Now I'm completely. I'm just gonna start lower on in the chat. So if I didn't address something, you guys can ask it again. I apologize. Do I have any favorite dumb theories? Not really. I mean, I've done some jokier theories on my channel. If I ever come across a quote unquote dumb theory that I like, I'll typically do a jokier video about it. Why didn't Lars want to go back to Earth? Who says he doesn't want to go back to Earth? He just hasn't gotten there yet. There's a difference. Luna Oak says, unless you can say why it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. Scientifically speaking, yeah, but colloquially, theory and hypothesis are synonymous. What do I think happens to the consciousness of the person that Steven projects himself into? I think it gets suppressed and basically, like, I don't think, was there ever any indication that Lars could see what Steven was doing? Because if there was, then I would imagine they just kind of get shuffled to the background and can't actually do anything, but they can see what's happening. Otherwise, I'd imagine it's much like Steven's body itself was. They become effectively comatose while he's in control. Do I think Steven's super tiers take away a lot of the stakes? Absolutely. But I didn't expect the show to ever have lethal stakes in the first place, so that doesn't really mean anything. To me, at least. Kay, you have to go. I appreciate you coming. Thank you for being here. And I'm now lost again. Would gem ratio matters? 2 rubies to 1 sapphire still form a garnet? I don't know. My theory would just be it would be a larger, more rubyish garnet, but it could go either way. Did Steven kill Pink Diamond? No. Why would anyone homeworld with the crystal gems trap a gem like the one that everyone thought was White Diamond? I would imagine if a gem started to go out of control or was damaged in some way that wasn't outwardly noticeable, that made them dangerous, they would trap a gem. They also trap gems for interrogation like they did with Lapis. So, I mean, any of that could be a reason why. Do I think a garnet or opal exists? Yes. Rebecca Sugar recently confirmed that. Okay, so apparently people want me to watch something called Bee and Puppy Cat. I will add that to my list too later. How did Pink get her lions? I don't understand the question. What would happen if all the diamonds fused? They'd get really big. What do I think about the idea that the gems in the past might have had a religion? I don't think that they did. I think that terms like moon goddess statue and temple and things like that were assigned to gem structures, monuments, and figures by humans once the gems got here, and the crystal gems just adopted that terminology. How do I think Bismuth will be freed? Somebody will pop the bubble. Other than that, I have no idea. If you're asking why I think she'll be freed, I think that they will at some point need her for something that none of the other ones can do. Okay, so another recommendation for being public cat. Okay, I'll definitely leave it on the list. Do I think there are other gems trapped in the temple like Lapis was? I doubt it. Like trapped in objects? I doubt it. It seems like most of the gemstones used to power gem technology are non-sentient, since it was such a surprise to the crystal gems that the gem in the mirror was sentient. I would imagine that can't be the rule. That must be an exception. But it's not impossible, I guess. Do I think cities like Detroit, Oakland, and Chicago will see a decrease in crime rate? Eventually, yeah. That's not really my area of expertise, but at the very least, eventually all of this will die out and then there won't be any crime there at all. If you want me to get super duper bleak on you. Do I think any of the gems are going to be shattered? I really doubt it. Again, I don't see this show having lethal stakes ever. Thanks for the work in the video. You're welcome, Undertale Gamer. It's a good name, by the way. Why did Lapis know what flirting was and hit the diamond? She must have had some contact with human society that we haven't actually seen. That's really the only in-universe reason for that to be something that she knows about. That seemed like so much more of an Amethyst line, though, than a Lapis one. Hey, get out of that. Sorry, one of my dogs was getting into something they shouldn't have been. Favorite arc of Dragon Ball Super so far? I liked the Future Trunks arc in theory, but I thought it had some missteps. Aspects of the Resurrection F arc were good, but I think the movie's overall better. Probably the current one. The tournament arc, it's again had some missteps. Their treatment of Tien is just criminal. But I think overall it's been really good. I think quality-wise, objectively speaking, it is the best one of the show so far. Though the visuals when Goku was turning into the Super Saiyan God back in the very first arc were so good, significantly better than the movie version, I think. Though everything else about that arc was, I think, inferior to the movie version, so it doesn't exactly push it above the movie. Do I think Lars can teleport like Lion now? Absolutely. Do I think in terms of plot purposes it would be better for Lars to stay on Homeworld? No, absolutely not. He's not on Homeworld anyway. We already know he's on a ship at this point in time. But no, I don't. I think that bringing him with his powers that he has now and all of the off-colors to Earth opens up so many more story possibilities for the simple reason that they will be somewhere where Steven can talk to them regularly and therefore we can see them on a regular basis. How did Rose get her lions? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. She wandered around till they started following her, I would imagine. Kind of the same way that Lion follows Steven around sometimes. Maybe she did some training. Maybe she came across them and trained them a little bit or something. I don't know. Something along those lines, though, I think. What happens if a gem is unbubbled in Lion's dimension? It reforms like Bismuth did. Who do I think built the temple? Either the crystal gems themselves after the war, or ancient humans after the war. It had to be after the war. It had to be after they found amethyst, because the temple fusion includes amethyst, unless the statue of the temple fusion was built later than the temple itself, but I also doubt that because amethyst gemstone is on the temple door. What will happen if Stephen fused with rose quartz? Would it make a bigger rose quartz? It would make... They would still be rose quartz, but they would be gender non-specific, and they would be an amalgam of typical rose quartz features and Stephen's current features. Cute dog. I do have cute dogs. Is my dog a tool if you try hard enough, yeah? Rose's sword breaks. Could be a reason to free Bismuth, absolutely. How long do I think it'll take for a diamond to replace pink? I don't think a diamond will. I don't think forming a diamond would take any longer than a regular gem. I just think it would take significantly more resources. And since Homeworld doesn't seem to be willing to use planets with sentient species or any sort of like complex ecosystem anymore since Earth, they're running really low on resources. I just don't think they have the resources to make a new diamond and make new general population gems, and so they're choosing to increase their numbers rather than create a new leader for the numbers that they won't have, if that makes sense. Yeah. Do I think we'll see Marco and Star get together in the show? Well, they did dance under that red moon thing, so probably. Stephen could end world hunger by instantly growing food. Yes, he could. Did I watch the Man-at-Arms Reforged video where they made Rose's sword? Not yet, but it's something I'm planning to watch later today, actually. You've had a theory for a while. Phantom says, I've had a theory for a while. Want to hear it? Greg will heal the gems using the Wailing Stone and the laser light cannon from episode 1. I don't think he'll use those specific devices, but excuse me. But I do think he'll be integral in healing the corrupted gems. I actually made a video about it. It's the one that has the obvious Greg silhouette on the cover page, if you guys are interested in watching it. Let's see. Do I think Sadie and Lars can still be together and that Lars is immortal? We don't know for sure that he is, first of all, but yeah, why not? Do I think Connie might be captured for blackmail purposes? Maybe. She kind of already was, technically, wasn't she? It wasn't exactly blackmail, but it was a capture. Have I seen any of the music videos on Steven Universe? In which context? Like, music videos done based on songs from the show, or music videos about the show? I haven't watched enough of OKKO to answer that question, Pat Pratch. I apologize. Now I'm completely lost again. Here we go. I now have a Steven Universe question that says, I do not know how to pronounce that, 1985. Do I think that we will get to see Lars of the Stars miniseries? No, but I think maybe they'll explore it in the comics more. Just because in the show, I don't know, the animated aspect of Steven Universe tends to always be told through Steven's point of view, even if it's someone else telling a story to him. I don't know, maybe we'll get a web series where it's different, but I really doubt it. Do I think the show is going to end with a reformed homeworld / Shattered Diamonds? No, I think it's going to end with the very beginnings of peace between Earth and Homeworld being formed, and that's where it's going to stop. How many more seasons of Steven Universe are we going to get? As of right now, we have Season 5, which just started with Wanted, and then a 6th season confirmed. There could very easily be more, though. I don't know. Do I think Jasper will join the Crystal Gems? Absolutely. Why do I think in older gem places we see statues of fusions? Because either they were erected to be like historical memorials to like remember the past, or because in the past cross gem fusions were more accepted, one or the other. Would I like to see, what is that, the Famethist? Are you asking about the Famethist joining the Crystal Gems? I'd like to see that happen, yeah. Do I think if they submerge Centipede completely in Rose's fountain, the corruption would be cured? No, because Rose had access to her own fountain, and she tried to heal the corrupted gems and never could. So it makes sense she would have tried that and it would have failed. Is Snorlax a tool if you try hard enough? Yeah. What gem is Senti? Bismuth mentioned a pilot gem. I can't remember what it was. But, I'll go look it up real quick. It's pretty early in the episode, I think. See if I can find the transcript for the episode. No, that's the character itself. I don't want the character itself. I want the episode. Here we go. Is there not a transcript? Here it is. I'm on the Steven Universe wiki, which is currently Halloween themed. I'm very excited about that, by the way. Let's see. It was when she was talking to Pearl and Garnet. Let's see. It's later than that. This is taking forever. I apologize. Here we go. This might be it. Nephrite. A Nephrite. Nephrites seem to be pilots for Homeworld. I think she could be a Nephrite. Who made Homeworld? Nobody. It's a planet. But if you're asking who made the original gems, I think probably a third party of some kind of human-like species that doesn't exist anymore. When am I going to react to the Battle of Muni? When I get to it. Is a Garnet Fluorite fusion likely? I think it's definitely possible. And I'd like to see it. It interests me a lot, but I don't know. Crap. Lost my place again. Here we go. Now I lost it again. Hold on. Here we go. Are all gems stronger than humans on average? I don't think necessarily. I don't think Peridot is, for example. But I think for her size, proportionate to her size, she's stronger than a human of her size would be, if that makes sense. Do I watch Miraculous? Is that Miraculous Ladybug? I've watched a little bit of it. I need to catch up. Not enough to answer questions. How do I think the animals got... in Avatar, how do I think the animals got associated with the different kinds of bending, or how do I think they got their bending? How do I think they got their bending is what you're asking. I don't know. They probably just learned it over time, interacting with nature. Why didn't the mass corruption of all gems on Earth cause a follow-up rebellion? Because it was lied about, obviously. I mean, we know from the off colors that there was propaganda suggesting that the homeworld colony had just failed and destroyed itself. We don't even know for sure that the mass population of homeworld knew there was a war in the first place. And as for whether or not they had friends, I really doubt it. The social structure of gem society doesn't really seem to allow for gems to have friends, at least not in the typical sense. They might have comrades of the same gem type within their same group, but they don't have long-distance friendships and that kind of thing. Do I think there's been other rebellions in the past? If there have been, I think they were before the Diamonds came to power, and maybe even the Diamonds led a rebellion to take power, but none since then. Music videos about the show. Maybe. I don't know if I've seen any music videos about the show. I don't remember them offhand. How do I think Yang and Blake will end up together? They'll spend slightly more time together than they have already. Seems pretty inevitable to me, honestly. Jasper is corrupted. Yes, she is. But I think they'll heal her. How many corrupted gems are there? I don't know. It's hard to pin down. Several hundred, if not a couple thousand. Will we get an off-colored sardonyx? I think that the reason they made rhodonite, made her components what they are, and also gave us another sapphire, is specifically so we can see another sardonyx. Yes. Yonk says, I don't recall a theory, but it's been bugging me as to why Greg sounded so distressed when saying, it's not like I was at the gem war while driving Steven from the handship. I think it was just stress, yeah. I think this is something that he had hoped he wouldn't have to tell Steven. He was hoping that the gems would do it for him, and now suddenly he's having to do it in a situation where he's already stressed out. I do think it was just stress. Let's see. I think Jasper will join the Crystal Gems simply by coming to sympathize with them. I'm not sure how, but I think that's what's going to end up happening. I don't think she's going to... I think it'll probably have something to do with her. Maybe Homeworld will feel like she failed them. Maybe the Diamonds will feel like she failed them and turn their backs on her, and maybe the Crystal Gems won't, and so she'll come to sympathize with them. Something along those lines, but otherwise I'm not really sure. Let's see. I'm lost again. Theory on my rose isn't flat-chested like all the other quartz. None of the quartz are flat-chested. They just, the clothing they wear binds it better. What will I dress up for Halloween? I don't know yet. And now people are telling me that nephrite is what Bismuth mentioned. Thank you. Appreciate that. Have I considered the Platonic Lars to Stephen Love Like You interpretation? I've considered basically every Love Like You interpretation, so yes. The diamonds in the mural on the moon base have halos of varying sizes, with pink diamonds being the biggest, followed by white, then blue and yellow. I don't think they represent anything. I think they're just stylistic. If I end up being wrong, though, I will eat one of Snorlax's ears. Do I think blue diamond can uncorrupt gems? No. I think maybe all the diamonds together who caused corruption could uncorrupt the gems, but I don't think any individual one can do it. Nuclear Fallout says, I have a theory about Steven Universe. Stay with me. Steven might give up his gem, or it gets taken. Because it was hinted by the psychotic Ruby that everybody wants the gem and not Steven. Yeah, but they think that Steven is the gem. To a gem, the gemstone is the person, the gem, the person's real body. So when they talk about Steven's gem, they're talking about his true body from their perspective. So they're still talking about Steven. D-Dave104 says, Diamond emotion theory. Yellow tries to hide her emotions, but ends up getting angry too fast. Blue has depression, and because of that, her working life is stopped. White will go cold, no emotion, a monster. It's possible, for sure. I mean, your assessment of yellow and blue are pretty accurate. Thoughts on Aquamarine and Topaz, perhaps joining the Crystal Gems of the future? I think it's possible that both of them will. Aquamarine seems very loyal to Homeworld and kind of sadistic, but she also seems to genuinely care about Topaz. And Topaz is definitely already sympathetic to at least Steven. So I think it could happen. I got some pretty birds in the background. Yeah, well. Thanks. I appreciate that. Making me look. I actually did look. Do I think Rose's fountain was a failed attempt to cure corruption? Possibly. I have some questions as to where the fountain came from and how it manages to persist now that Rose no longer exists. But yeah, I think it's definitely possible that she made it to try to heal corruption, or maybe she made it so that she wouldn't always have to go out and fight with every single group during the war to ensure that they could heal. Maybe she created it so that if a gem was damaged and she wasn't there to help them, they could go to the fountain instead. Something like that. Do I go to college, or did I go to college? Briefly, and I'm probably going to end up going back. No real reason why or why not, I just didn't, primarily I didn't end up liking what I majored in. So, are skeletons better than humans? I guess it depends on the kind of skeleton. I mean, typically your average Draugr dungeon skeleton isn't all that powerful, but then later on you've got the mage types that show up during the Dawnguard DLC that are much more powerful, tend to be stronger than the average human. I don't know. So that's Skyrim, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. How do I think corruption could be cured? We've seen that an overabundance of primal rage causes corruption. Have we? That's not what we've been shown at all. We've been shown that corruption was a conscious choice made by the Diamonds, and they caused it with their powers. I think it will end up... I think that whatever damage they did to the minds of those gems will have to be repaired for it to be cured. And so it will somehow involve Steven's ability to go into the minds of others. What do I think of Crow's semblance? The one that basically attracts danger to him? It's interesting. I'd like them to actually do something with it, though. Were the gem mutants and the cluster a byproduct of a failed attempt to fix a shattered pink diamond? Maybe originally, maybe they tried to fix her and realized that it was impossible to fix a shattered gem, and so they repurposed it into the gem mutants and the cluster. But it's not a guarantee that it's not a guarantee that that's what it is. You just joined Lexi Gators. We're talking about theories in general. You guys are suggesting theories to me. What weapon do I think was used to kill Pink Diamond? Rose's sword. Definitely. Or just, you know, Rose's fists or a rock. Pretty much anything. But probably Rose's sword. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, but Rose's sword can't cut gems. And again, that's not what was said at all. But I'm not going to get into that again today. Do I think the Crystal Gems have been fighting corrupted gems consistently? I'm assuming you're asking because we haven't really seen any recently, or maybe are you asking because there can't have been enough to keep them busy for millennia. They've been on Earth. I mean, I think fairly consistently over the course of that period of time, but there have probably been times where there weren't as frequent attacks, just like right now in the show we're not seeing as frequent attacks. Gushers or fruit roll-ups? Gushers. Do I think that fusions lose abilities from the gems that they're formed from, I would imagine is what you're asking. We already know this. They talked about it in Guide to the Crystal Gems. Their abilities average each other out because Sapphire can float, but Ruby is significantly more dense than a creature typical of her size. The two powers cancel each other out, and you get someone who is appropriately dense for their size. It's the same with Ruby and Sapphire's heat and cold powers. They average out, become Garnet's electrical power. In one of the shorts, Steven runs to the barn while in video chat and gets there pretty fast. So why is Parrot Out Loud barely in the show anymore? Because the writers hate them. What is the most likely weapon for Sapphire? Garnet's Shades. Am I ignoring your question? No. What do I think? Why do I think we see statues of fusions in ancient gem sites? I already answered that. I think either they're meant to be for historical reference because fusion was more acceptable among homeworld gems in the past, or they were erected during a time when fusion was more acceptable among homeworld gems, one or the other. Are most of the corrupted gems bubbled? At this point, probably. Do I think the in-universe reason why we don't see him anymore in episodes is that almost none are left in the wild? Probably, yeah. If Steven were able to separate from his gem, would Rose reform? No. Rose's data was turned into one half of Steven's DNA. It doesn't exist anymore, except as part of Steven. Outside of his gem, as part of his physical body. Would I like to see flashbacks of Amethyst joining the Crystal Gems? Absolutely. How do I think the Steven universe will end? I think a tentative peace will begin to form between Earth and Homeworld, and that's about where they'll end it. Jaden Azakai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, says, been watching your videos for a very long time. Do you think Connie will age normally even after fusing with Steven and having her sight healed via healing saliva? Yes, absolutely. And jump to the bottom of the chat again. Here we go. Am I a fan of any teams in the NBA, NFL, NHL, or MLB? Not really. Do I like Homestuck? Never really been exposed to it, so no. I mean, I might if I were exposed to it, but as of right now, no. Pink's Halo is probably the biggest because it was her base. That's actually an interesting thought. Tips for a freshman in college? Freshman year in college, really try to feel out what it is that you enjoy learning about and pursue that. Because at least in my experience, what I went to college for, I ended up hating it. But I stuck with it for too long and ended up giving up on the whole thing. Don't be that. Don't do that. Find something you enjoy learning about, and if that wasn't already what you were focusing on, shift your focus to that. Do I think that something was taken or given up from Rose's gem to form Steven, thus preventing a rose quartz from forming? Yes, her data, her information, was given up to become part of Steven's physical body, part of his DNA makeup. It doesn't exist on the gem anymore, and since that's the information that would have been used to form a new gem from the gemstone could no longer form a gem. Do I think there was a gem civilization before the diamonds joined together? Absolutely. What about Steven helping healing the cluster? If each piece is part of a soul, treat it like a huge puzzle. Shattered gems cannot be repaired, period. It's one of the rules of the show's universe. So, and Steven Universe doesn't deal in the concept of souls, so that isn't even applicable. But the cluster cannot be healed. It's always going to be what it is. I answered that already. If Steven went into the mine of a corrupted gem, do I think he could have damage done to him? No, because the damage that corruption does is designed to affect a gem mine, not a human one. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? I mean, they have physical substance, so that, I mean, that makes them real one way or the other. Ruby has been seen to summon shades. I don't think it goes for Sarah. No, she hasn't. Can I ramble about Pad Pratchett for a bit? Not really, because I don't have anything prepared to ramble about. Why don't we see Hollow Pearls in real fights? They seem to be pre-programmed. Like, they have to be pre-programmed to do specific actions. So I don't think they could react in a fight. Pearl would have to either actively control them, in which case her focus would be split, or they would just be overwhelmed because they aren't designed to fight in any other way other than what they're programmed to specifically do. Jaden Azakai says that I'm actually the first to pronounce their name correctly. Thank you for letting me know. I'm very bad with pronouncing things, so that actually boosts my confidence a little bit. Thumbs up there so you guys can actually see what I was doing. What do you think is left in Lars' story? Coming back to Earth, mostly? Do I like strawberry or chocolate ice cream more? I like them about the same. Strawberry probably a little bit more, but consider this. Mix them together. That's the best way to do it. Do I think blue and pink were lovers? Yes. Soul more. You meant soul more like personality. Even then, though, it has been confirmed by the crew that the personality of the gem that was shattered dies when the gem shatters, and they're left with more something akin to instincts than personalities. The cluster seems to have been able to form something of a personality again, simply because of the sheer volume of fragments included within it. So no, they still wouldn't be able to heal. Do I think the progenitor of the gems will be a future antagonist? No, I don't think so at all. Maybe if the show goes on for an unreasonably long amount of time, they'll end up having to do that. But I doubt it. What is the stupidest ship I've ever heard of? In just Steven Universe or overall? In just Steven Universe, there are people who actually ship Onion with White Diamond, and I think that's pretty stupid. What would the Crystal Gems be doing if Steven didn't kick off the plot by freeing Lapis and revealing himself to Peridot, assuming the cluster doesn't emerge? Assuming the cluster doesn't emerge, absolutely nothing, but it was still going to emerge one way or another, which means Peridot still would have come to Earth to check on it, and the Crystal Gems still would have had to deal with the problem one way or another. So most of the events we've seen still would have happened. The difference is they wouldn't have had the leg up on the cluster, and the Earth would have been destroyed. But assuming the cluster doesn't emerge, I would imagine mostly exactly the same as before Steven got there. I don't know. Salted caramel ice cream is very nice. What are my thoughts on the Steven Universe rant by RoboBuddies? Did not watch it. Again, I'm trying to distance myself from Steven Universe criticism. And for what I've heard, most of the criticisms and other things I've heard about already. So I just honestly don't care that much. Why do I think that Rose is the only gem that could heal? I don't think she was. I think plenty of other gems could have healed if they had discovered that ability. Specifically other Rose Quartz. I just think because she seems to care about people more than the average gem is allowed to, she was able to discover that ability. What do I think of the Dewey Wins preview? I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. Connie seems to be raising the question of why Steven basically decided to lone wolf the situation instead of go with what they trained themselves to do. And I think that is a question that needed to be asked, so I'm glad it's being asked. I feel that Paul Brown says, I feel that Pearl has too many abilities and that the writers forget about them half the time. I'm not sure I agree with you, honestly, but I mean, if you want to elaborate, I'd appreciate it. Am I reading anything interesting, and do I have recommendations? I'm reading this right now. This is it without its jacket. It's a Wonder Woman book, Warbringer. they're doing a lot of these right now. DC has kind of licensed out other authors to write books about their characters that are a little more serious, like actual serious stories compared to what might be in the comics, as kind of tie-ins to the current run of movies. And I'm not very far in it. So far I like it though. And I like the Wonder Woman movie, and I like Wonder Woman as a character so much, I can't imagine I won't enjoy it. So if you guys like the character, go for it. Just because the shattering can't be healed doesn't mean that Steven knows accepts yet. Absolutely, that is absolutely true. So, I mean, I could see the possibility of him trying at the very least. Can I recommend some fan comics? I don't typically read fan comics. If you can recommend some to me, if that's what you're asking. During What's the Point of Feeling Blue, Yellow starts to get really distressed and then hums her melody louder. Is it possible that the melody, the pearls and yellows are humming, could heal corruption? I doubt it. I don't really see why those things are connected either. But maybe, I don't know. I think she started to get distressed because she's not as over Pink's death as she's pretending to be. Whether because she was somehow involved and is trying to push Blue past getting over it because she doesn't want her involvement to come up, or whether she is genuinely remorseful that Pink died. I think that she's still dwelling on the past too, and that's why she seemed distressed. Steven kept ignoring Connie's feelings even when he got back to Earth. That's the worst part of it for you. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think... I think Steven had a point. His attempt to try to end things, it made sense to him. And so... he definitely did have a good point, speaking from his own perspective, but I do think Connie is definitely a little bit more in the right in the situation. My mom is so cool. That's from the Wonder Woman review, thank you. Noir Raven says, my internet cut out, so I'm asking in case you missed it. How do I think Jasper's redemption healing arc is going to go? She's definitely going to be healed. I think she's going to be healed with the rest of the corrupted gems. And I do think they're going to start healing corrupted gems. More like one at a time. I don't think they'll do all at once. But I think she'll probably be the second corrupted gem to be healed. And then at some point Homeworld will be shown to turn its back on her for one reason or another. Maybe because she has technically failed them at this point. And the crystal gems will take her in and accept her, and she will turn to their side. Percy Jackson or Harry Potter? That's not a fair question. I don't think Robo Buddies was far from something you'd say. I mean, I don't think it was either. That's part of the reason. I'm critical enough of the show as it is. I don't need to hear why other people are critical about it. If they're reasonable, I've probably thought of the criticism myself already. It's not that I'm avoiding SU critical content right now because I don't agree with it or I hate it or whatever. I'm avoiding it because I don't need to hear it again. I've already heard it all. My dog's barking at something, in case you didn't notice. What do I think the odds are of Stevani becoming a permanent fusion? Pretty good, honestly. I'm actually going to call it an end of the stream here, I think, because I want to go see what they're doing in the background there. I've got some good ideas from you guys, though. Hopefully you got some good answers from me. I appreciate all you guys showing up. Thank you very much. We'll be doing this again relatively soon, and then we'll also have the other live stream for when I'm finally caught up on Star. I'm caught up to the point where Battle Immunity starts. So, there you go. I know that was pretty abrupt, but yeah, thank you for being here. I'll talk to you guys later.